As you can see, if we look at this pond, our pond has mostly just moss on it. There's really no other plant life in this pond except moss. And we've been talking to a fish biologist with the DNR, and he gave us a lot of stuff to read up on pond management. And we're going to try to plant some aquatic plants in the pond to try to make it a healthier pond for the wildlife. So we've bought something that they call wild celery or wet celery. It's an aquatic plant, and we're going to try to get this started in this pond. The problem is this is an established pond, and it likes to get ate by ducks and by red ear sunfish and turtles, and so it's going to be kind of difficult to get started in this pond. So we're going to go ahead and try a few things that the fish biologist told us to do to try to get this established. And these plants just arrived in the mail yesterday, so we got to get these plants in the ground this weekend. So let's get started. I ordered the water celery, or the wild celery. I ordered that from Kester's Wild Game Food Nurseries out of Wisconsin. And here's how it came. It comes with instructions on how to plant them. And it comes with this bag of tubers. And that's the plant right there. And then it also comes with these mesh bags that you put, the way I understand it, you're going to put 5 of those tubers in this mesh bag, and then you're going to plant it in the ground of the pond. Alright, reading the instructions here, it says that these tubers should be planted within 48 hours of receipt. If I'm not able to plant them, you can keep them refrigerated but not frozen up to 5 to 7 days. I just received these last night, so it's only been about 12 hours since I got them. And I'm going to try to get these all planted within the next today or tomorrow. Alright, the plan is to put a fence around the water plants so that none of the fish or the turtles or the ducks or anything eat it, because it's really hard to get established in a existing pond according to the DNR fish biologist. So what he suggested to do was to take chicken wire and cut it and make little fence circles. So I've got a 50-foot roll. We're cutting these just a little longer than 16.5 foot, so we can get three circles out of a 50-foot roll. And I got one more roll, so that'll give us at least 6 places to plant these plants. So what he said to do was to put like 4 posts in the ground to be able to stake this to. So I've got my T-posts that we salvaged here from the property, and we're going to stick those down in the ground in the pond in about 1.5 feet deep water. And then he said you need to work this fence down into the muck of the pond, so it's kind of down in the muck so that turtles and stuff can't get underneath it. So we're going to get that down into the muck of the pond, and then we're going to wire it to those posts. And then after that's done, we're going to take our plants and we're going to shove them down in the ground into the muck of the pond so that they can grow. So to make this oval or this circular fence of chicken wire is what we're using. It's going to want to roll up on you, so you're going to want a couple, you might want an extra hand. So all we did was overlap about 6 inches and then wired this cut side here and wired this cut side there so that it is back attached to itself. Alright, it's time to take the tubers and put them in the mesh bags. What it says to do is it says to put 5 of these tubers per mesh bag, and then it also says to put some stones in the bag too. So I went and got some stones from the gravel road. And we're going to throw some in there, and I understand that that's just supposed to weigh this bag down in your pond and keep it from floating off of the bottom. So let's get started filling these bags up, and then when I'm done, I'm going to put them all in a bucket full of water until I plant them. Okay, now we got the tubers in the bag with a handful of gravel in there. We've tied it shut, and then we're just going to store it into a bucket of water until we plant them. Well, we got all the pond plants planted by the end of the day. That day, it's a couple days later now, and the water has cleared, and this is basically what we did. You got your cage of chicken wire. We got our stakes in the pond holding it down. We've used wire to tie it to the posts, and then I don't even know, but you might be able to see some of the little mesh bags sticking out of the surface. And then that's where we've shoved the mesh bags down in the muck. So hopefully in a few weeks we'll start to see some plant growth out of them. It's been a month now since we planted the wild celery, and as you can see in this location, this is the best location so far, and it's growing pretty decent. The blades are anywhere from 1 foot to 2 foot long, so it's doing well in this location. They're probably right now in this spot 1 foot deep of water to 1.5 foot deep of water. One thing that I want to make note of is that a lot of people use copper sulfate to kill the moss on the pond. I've tried using some of that, and this wild celery plant is very susceptible to it. I've got some that the grass has died back on it, and then it looks like that the root isn't dead. It looks like it still kind of starts growing back. So I'll just have to watch it and see what time does. But be very aware that copper sulfate, that the plants seem to be more susceptible to it than the moss. To be honest with you, I've had where the moss didn't really want to completely die off, but yet I've had all the green want to die on the wild celery plants. So just keep that aware if you ever try to plant it. Thanks for watching.